The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. Welcome to my channel. My name is Samuel and I want to make self-growth normal. If you want to make self-growth normal, because I don't want to do it alone and I've never met someone who doesn't want to make self-growth normal, then make sure to smash that like button. I am super jacked to be talking about this book right now. Very excited. 5 months into entry-level sales and every day I feel like I'm just starting out. Before I even considered sales, I was listening to books like this. I don't even know why. Not sure what selling has to do with helping people do renovations. Brian Tracy, this guy is just top. He's the top. Like, his content is top notch. I watched his one time management video every week for 18 months and it completely transformed my life and what I want to do with it and how I'm going to do it. So to finally be revisiting this book and operationally understanding what he is talking about is like a whole other playing field to me. I wholeheartedly regret not diving head first into sales right after high school. I seriously do. If you're watching this and you're young, learn sales and learn it fast and soon, or you will regret not listening to that strange boy on the iPhone, Android screen that you're watching right now. And check out a book like this while you're at it. Why check out a book like this? Let's talk about it. According to the author, the purpose of this book is to give you a set of ideas and strategies and techniques that you can use immediately and make more sales faster and more easily than before. You can double, triple, or quadruple your income in a few months or even weeks. Hey man, it may sound like a bold claim, but any claim is just as bold as what you aim to do with it. Since the book was introduced and eventually translated into 16 languages in 24 different countries, more salespeople have allegedly become millionaires after applying the tips and strategies presented in this book than any other sales development program ever presented. Tracy says that he has personally I don't even know if this is possible, but at his age, I mean, I don't want to say he's a little old, but you know, he's trained over 500,000 salespeople personally, worldwide, from thousands of companies in virtually every industry. Incredibly educated man, and his story in the beginning will illuminate. It will illuminate the power of making the decision to learn from the mistakes of the people who are at the top. He said when he discovered sales seminars, he thought that he died and went to heaven. A lot of people hate on sales, but anyone in America who really is willing to work and thinks the system is rigged, I don't make enough money, everyone else gets paid the big bucks. Get into sales. There's no cap on your income. Great salespeople often earn more than doctors and lawyers and architects with academic degrees. And you know what? Sales is the only occupation in our society where you can start with any background and earn a great living in a matter of 3 to 12 months. A lot of things online like drop shipping, affiliate marketing, blogging, YouTubing, those are selling. I do 2 of those. These things are selling to a degree because they drive traffic via relied upon methods of persuasion towards sales of products and services. He says that when you start selling, you will feel like your heart is in your throat. I learned that in order to boost your self-esteem, really all you have to do is say to yourself, I like myself. I like myself. Over and over again, because literally every time you do it, you begin to feel just a little better about yourself. Just a little. It literally sparks like a change in your brain chemistry. Now, my only problem with Brian Tracy is that it just doesn't seem like his emotion and his enthusiasm can ever seem to keep up with the quality of his work. And this perplexes me because he has been doing this for so long and he is so good at what he does. Top salespeople know how much they will earn within the dollar by the day, week, month, and year, and how many calls to make or doors to knock just to make that happen. Like many other books in self-development, let alone by Brian Tracy, there is a chapter about goal setting and speaking goals into reality, but goals are probably one of the most major differences between top earners and bottom earners. Goals and the connections we make to them with our subconscious minds, whether we realize it or not. Like Jeff Bezos probably isn't waking up every day telling himself 5 times in the mirror, I love myself,
I love myself, and I love my company, and we're gonna colonize the moon.
He does not sound like this at all. This was just the first voice that came to mind. And it's always day one, but he is probably having similar thoughts to those everywhere he goes. And whether or not that's natural is irrelevant, because it doesn't need to be natural. There's a whole chapter about not just why people buy, but why they don't. The customer needs analysis, CNA, is something that I need to adapt to the process that I follow. And assessing the needs of other people, whether you're in sales or not, is a very, very useful skill. In a way, everyone is a salesperson. But that's a conversation for another book review. It's easier to sell when you understand what a person cares about beforehand, for a lot of reasons that are kind of discussed throughout the book, but mainly this chapter. By the way, his analogies are fantastic. I have never heard analogies like these. So crafty for different situations and different concepts in really any book ever. That and his very witty storytelling. It makes this book more than just an explanation of how to use selling to double, triple, or even quadruple your income in a few months or even weeks. And this is weird because of how seriously I take it, but I find it difficult to explain how important creativity is in a successful sale. But Brian Tracy definitely doesn't. People say things like,
well, you can teach anyone how to do this. You could teach a monkey how to do it.
But selling, and selling effectively and efficiently, it seems, creativity is like the biggest difference between those things. And creativity can be used in sneaky ways to take many opportunities further, as well as open up new ones that you didn't know were there to begin with. Who doesn't need to know how to get more appointments? Getting appointments alone is a sales occupation. Getting appointments to sell things is jumping through a bunch of hoops on your own, only to have someone else at a later time jump through a bunch of even higher, more complicated to reach hoops, just to get to the end of this tag team relay race that we're talking about. From this chapter about appointment selling, I learned a little about how crucial it is to sell the appointment and not the product. Brian Tracy really does stay on topic throughout the book. Like, there really is no chapter where he deviates from the actual psychology of selling. The chapter about suggestion and like the power of suggestion, he has so many stories in that one, probably more than any other chapter, and they are just very entertaining, okay? His stories are very, very entertaining. Some of this stuff, like his opening statement and question, is so a lot of this stuff is honestly just very sneaky. Like, for example, it could include loads of qualification before you even talk about the product or service. There will be things in this opening statement and question that will handle objections so that they don't need to come up. He uses it on mutual funds. If I can show you the best investment available in the market today, are you in the position to invest $5,000 right now? If they don't have $5,000, ask them, if it's the best investment you've ever seen, are you in the position to invest $3,000? He says this works with virtually any product or service. Some of this book, I will not lie, is a little outdated, like social psychology stuff that has been around for decades now. But some of it, which I think is probably overlooked by lots of people, like the different types of buyers. And there aren't like 2 or 3, there are like 6 or 7. That and the importance of personality flexibility. It's stuff that I would argue is very, very ahead of its time, because it talks about the needs and personality traits of such buyers and how you can use those things creatively in order to adjust your process in a way that best fits each person. And in a thank you economy like that, in like what we have in 2020, that's just too powerful to ignore. How many sales books talk about that nowadays? A frighteningly low percentage of 2,400 Audible reviews were 2 or 1 out of 5 stars. The 1-star reviews said things I couldn't really even understand. I just kind of found them a little narrow-minded. The 2-star reviews either brought up the audio quality, which from my fellow listeners, I will admit was kind of poor, but I got used to it pretty quickly. I mean, I still understood what he was saying. A lot of people trashed his talk of, saying, I like myself, or I'm good at what I do. Almost to the point where they're like, it sounds like they're almost disagreeing with it. But I heard so many things in this book that were not that. I heard a lot more technical sales stuff in this book than any of that. Most of that stuff is in the beginning of the book. As far as how outdated the information is, this book was written and it was published in 1985. How much has everything changed in sales, at least, between 1985 and 2015, for example, let alone the past 5 years. I would get books like this just to understand what things and how they have become ineffective and which ones haven't. You'd be surprised what ideas you get from outdated sales books anyway. You don't know what you don't know, and I like that so much that I will brag in the pursuit of arguing the same exact thing for myself. It seems that most decisions we make in life are similar to backing up in the night and hitting something and then getting up to see what it was. Whatever you're smoking, find some people who want to get into sales and share it with them. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him discover it within himself. The sale takes place in the words and the buying takes place in the silence. If you catch one whale, it can sink your whole ship. If you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. Meticulous planning will enable everything a man does to appear spontaneous. You have more potential than you can use in 500 lifetimes. Direction 1. I recommend this book for anyone who is either in sales or curious about sales. Anyone in sales, even if you have experience, there's probably still a good amount of stuff you can learn from this. Direction 2. If you like this book, Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. That's really all I have to, other than, I mean, if you've checked out this book, chances are you've already checked out Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. If you haven't, check out both of those books. You will love them. The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video if you want to check those out too. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it, but hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe. But if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere and I will see you then.